3, welcome to your maths video for Tuesday the 23rd of June. Today we're going to have a little look at comparing fractions. So we're going to look at different fractions and see which one's the biggest or which one's the smallest. Okay, so here I've got two bar models. I've got a 6/7 and scroll down. I've got 4/7, okay? And I've got to find the biggest fraction. So I'm going to use my pen to shade them in. So I can see that my bar model has been split into 7 equal parts. Because that's my denominator. So the bottom number, the denominator, tells you how many equal parts something's been split into. We want 6 of those equal parts. So 1/7, 2/7, 3/7, 4/7, 5/7, 6/7. Okay, so I've got all of the red section out of that long bar model. This time I want 4/7. Okay, so 1/7, 2/7, 3/7, 4/7. Okay, let's imagine that this is a chocolate bar. Okay, so I'm really hungry and I love chocolate. Would I prefer to have this piece all the way to there, or would I prefer to have that piece? It's obvious, I'd prefer the top one. I'd prefer to have 6/7 than I would 4/7 because 6/7 is greater than 4/7. Okay, so here we've got our greater than and our less than signs. Now we've known them as crocodile signs, and we know that crocodiles are greedy. They like to chomp the biggest number. So we're going to use those to compare. So I don't know what's happened to my fractions here. I'll rub those out and I'll move it. Oh, I'll move it there. So I've got 8/10 and I've got 6/10. So my circle has been split into 10 equal parts. I'm going to pretend it's a pizza. Okay, so we've got 8/10 or 6/10. So I'm going to start shading in my pizza slices. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10. So I've got 8 slices out of a possible 10. Now again, still really hungry. Would I prefer to have 8/10, so 8 out of 10, or 6/10, 6 out of 10? Let's have a look. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10. Okay, so you can see that 8/10, okay, is greater than, so my greedy crocodile or greedy Miss Charlesworth would prefer to chomp on 8/10 rather than 6/10. So we've got 8/10 is greater than 6/10. Okay, let's roll it down. So again, my fractions have gone a bit dodgy. Let's rub those out. So I've got 2/4 at the top, so 2 out of 4, or I've got 2/8. Okay, so my circle has been split into 4 equal parts. I'm going to colour in 2 of my sections. Okay. This time, my circle's been split into 8 equal parts. So you can see if it's been split into 4, then it's been split into 8. So you can see that the sections, the parts, are much bigger on the top where we've got a lower denominator because it's been cut into 4 parts. Here it's been cut into 8 parts. So if we need more equal parts, they're going to get smaller, aren't they? Okay, so now I've got 2 out of 8. Okay, so we can see that 2/4, which we know is the same as 1/2, is greater than, so it's bigger than 2/8. Okay, so I'm going to have 2/4 is greater than 2/8. And I could switch that round. I could say 2/8 is less than have it that way, is less than 2 quarters. Okay, so remember it looks like a crocodile. The crocodile points and chomps to the biggest number. In this case, the biggest fraction. And we know that 2 quarters is greater than, so it's bigger than 2/8. Okay, so here we've got our bar models. We've got our 2 fractions. So we've got ninths this time. So our bar models have been split into 9 equal parts. We've got 4 ninths, so 1 ninth, 2 ninths, 3 ninths, 4 ninths, and then we've got a 6 ninths. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ninths. Now, I'm going to use my ruler, although I don't think I really need it. There's 4 ninths. You can see, I'll do it like that, that 6 ninths is bigger. Okay, so the greedy crocodile is going to eat 6 ninths rather than 4 ninths. So 4 ninths is less than 6 ninths. Okay, some of your activities may look like this. It says here are some bar models, and for each one you've got a fraction. So the first one is a half, 1 over 2, or 1 out of 2. So I need to shade in 1 out of a possible 2. Next I've got 1/3, so I've got to shade 1 out of 3. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you shade in, but for this task it makes more sense if you shade in the first ones, and then we can easily see which is greater. Okay, but normally it doesn't matter which section you shade in, but we're going to start at the beginning just so we can easily compare the size of the fractions. Okay, next I've got 1/4, which is 1 out of a possible 4. Next I've got 1/5. Okay, so you can see that the smaller the denominator, so here I've got a denominator of 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So as the denominator gets bigger, the fraction gets smaller because there are more parts, so therefore it gets smaller. Okay, so we've got some fractions, and in the circle you've got to write greater than, less than, or you might even have an equals to do equal to. So I've got 1/2 and 1/3. So I'm looking at 1/2, looking at 1/3, which is bigger. Well, I can easily see how half is bigger. So the greedy crocodile would point that way and he would chomp on the half. Okay, next I've got 1/4, so 1 out of 4, and I've got 1/3. Okay, well I can see there that 1/3 is bigger than 1/4. So the crocodile is going to want to eat the third, so it would point to the third. Okay, so that would be 1/4 is less than 1/3. I've got 1/5 and 1/3. Again, think about that rule. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the fraction. That's when we've got 1 as our numerator, when the numerator is the same. Okay, so 1/5, Luke, is smaller than 1/3. So it's going to want to eat 1/3 again. Next, I've got 1/3 and 1/2. So again, you can see that 1/2 is bigger, so it's going to point to the 1/2. I've got 1/4 and 1/5. Again, I can see the quarter is bigger, so 1/4 is greater than 1/5. And I've got 1/5 and I've got 1/2. Okay, it's easy to see that 1/2 is bigger than 1/5. Okay, so let's use that rule, okay, but think about the numerators. So let's think we've got a pizza, okay, and it's been split into 12 equal parts. Now when we think about the denominator, let's just skip back. As the denominator gets bigger, but our numerator is the same, the fraction gets smaller. Now with numerators, it's the opposite. If our denominators are the same, when our numerators get bigger, the fraction gets bigger. So if you imagine that this is a pizza, your pizzas are split into 12 equal slices. You're really hungry, would you prefer 7 out of 12 slices or 10 out of 12 slices? I would definitely prefer 10 twelfths. Okay, so that one would be bigger. So again, when the denominators are the same, so when the bottom numbers are the same, we look at the numerator. And if the numerator is bigger, it means it's the bigger fraction. So I'm going to cover those up, use that rule. Which one's bigger, 4/6 or 3/6? It's 4/6 because 4 is bigger than 3. So I would prefer 4 out of 6 slices of pizza than I would 3